Fans, welcome to Sports Chat. We're here. It's been a bye week for Campbell County. Big week for the Vols. Big week in high school football been going on. Of course, Campbell County's bye week comes off their big win against Clinton.
Yeah, huge road win in the district. Looking around the district schedule with the playoff split, Campbell County's got a good shot of finishing second in the district to Powell. Maybe even, first if they could somehow beat Powell, which would be a tough task. But Anderson County's falling off. Oak Ridge, Carnes?
Oak Ridge, Carnes, and Hardin Valley moved to 6A.
They all move out of this district for the playoffs. And, Oak Ridge is on some hard times too.
We're going to try to have somebody up here, maybe even next week, to discuss how the playoff system works under the TSSAA plan that understands it a little bit better than us.
It's like the coaches say, though, you got to take it one game at a time. They got a big one coming with Central. Central's coming off its first win of the season over Clinton. I think they beat Clinton 21-14 or something along those lines last week. It's going to be a good and big game for Campbell County. If you win this, I believe they'll be tied with Anderson County for second in the district.
Yeah, if you look at it right now, Central just got their first win. Anderson County took a pretty big blow losing to Oak Ridge. Because, the overall district record's obviously going to count.
Did Anderson County, did they lose a district game last week as well, maybe?
No, they almost lost to Halls last week. They've lost to Powell, though.
Clinton,
and they've not played Hardin Valley or Carnes yet.
I expect that they'll have a hard time beating either Hardin Valley or
Carnes is just so un-Carnes-like this year.
Yeah. It's good that Carnes is moving up to 6A in the playoff level because they're so good that.
Now Carnes fell to Powell this week, I believe it was.
No, that's Hardin Valley.
You're right, Hardin Valley fell to Powell.
Carnes beat somebody pretty badly this week. I want to say
Carnes may have beaten Halls very bad.
I think it was Halls. They beat like 49-7 or something.
I believe you're right.
49-20 something. They beat up on Halls pretty badly.
Of course, we got Halls coming up. That would be senior night and nacho night. So,
Halls, they have their one win over Clinton early in the season. I think they beat Clinton 21-12. Central has this one win over Clinton. Campbell County has one win over Clinton. So Clinton's obviously going to finish last in the district. And Campbell County, with the games coming up against Central and Halls, they have really a good shot of advancing themselves nicely towards the playoffs.
If they can pull off an upset over Powell or Oak Ridge, and Oak Ridge is beatable.
Powell will be a tall task. I was actually surprised that Oak Ridge beat Anderson County so badly, or at all even, because Oak Ridge, frankly, not been playing all that well this year.
I think Oak Ridge was kind of insulted that Anderson County scheduled them as their homecoming.
No.
I don't care how down Oak Ridge is, you do not schedule them for homecoming.
Well, that is a big rival too in the county, in Oak Ridge and Anderson County.
Especially with Clinton being so down.
But Oak Ridge, like I say, they don't really affect Campbell County's playoff picture other than the fact that Campbell County plays them because of the split. So Campbell County is essentially competing with district spots. Powell essentially has theirs wrapped up. And it's competing with Anderson County, Clinton,
Central,
and Halls right now. And the Central and Halls are the one-win team.
Even if the top three go.
And if you can beat Central and beat Halls, those two one-win teams, you're putting yourself in a good position to make a good run at the playoffs this year. That Clinton game was a key game. I don't know how many of you all went or not or heard about it yet. Campbell County jumped at 14-0 really quickly in the game. Looks like it's going to be a rout. Clinton, it was Clinton's homecoming. They stood up tall. They fought back.
They did. Clinton's a pretty well-coached team. Yeah. They're in the same position as Campbell County. They had a coaching staff take over very late in the game.
Clinton, first time they've been to their new field, they got a really nice field down there. Their press box, frankly, for the visitors, terrible. Didn't have food, didn't have drink.
Very, very big lack of hospitality on Clinton's
part.
Every
press box we go to normally actually really nice so far this year. Clinton's pretty awful.
And I know for a fact that Powell and Oak Ridge will have probably a very good. I know Oak Ridge will. It's been years since I've been to Powell, but they never disappointed me in the past.
The other big issue I had with Clinton is for whatever reason they had the homecoming parade is fine, and I'm glad they had a homecoming parade. They had it right at the start of the game, and the homecoming parade went right by the football field, so they had traffic snarled and snarled and blocked by you trying to park and there's a parade going through. Don't have it right at kickoff time. Have it earlier in the day by a couple of hours.
Of course, another big game this week, even though the records don't make it seem like it would be such a big game, this week is the Egg Bowl between Jacksboro and LaFollette.
Yeah. Oneida is going to walk away with the title unless half their team just quit school or fails or gets ruled ineligible for some reason.
Just promoted up to juniors.
My gosh. I never saw it be laid down like that. It was outside of like Nebraska back in the 95 they were dominating.
It was just ugly.
I mean, there's
no other word for it.
They ran the single wing to perfection.
From what I understand, this wasn't an exceptional performance by them. This is the way they've been beating everybody they played this year.
Yeah,
it was like watching a steamroller just push down the field.
Oh, I mean, it's like a giant bulldozer. Their entire line would shove Jacksboro's entire team down the field 20 yards at a time before they finally stumbled down.
And I'll tell you that. I mean, that's not an inexperienced defense. Austin Raines has started since he was a 6th grader.
We've watched every game. Austin Raines is usually one of the biggest players.
Mm-hmm.
He was about the same size as the smallest players on Oneida's team. Oneida had a guy, I swear he was 6'3" and 250 pounds. Playing running back.
I was telling Devin yesterday, I'm like, he was the size of Chris DeMont. Not in middle school, Chris DeMont now.
He's taller than DeMont now.
I think that's what I was thinking.
That guy's towered above the coaches. That guy was literally, he was 6'3" and 250 pounds.
He's probably about my size.
No, he's a big dude.
Now, not in middle school.
Big, yeah.
And LaFollette
He was
lost.
kickoff back. You couldn't tackle.
No, LaFollette lost a heartbreaker to Horace Manning.
Yeah, I thought LaFollette, if they had a shot to get a win this year, would be against Horace Maynard. And they were leading 14-12 late in the game, and Horace Maynard managed to score the go-ahead touchdown, win 18-14. I think.
Right. But this Thursday night is the Egg Bowl. I mean, we're going to be, Volunteer Time's going to be there. I hope to see every one of you there too.
It should be a good game.
I mean,
normally a good game.
Forget the records. This is Jacksboro and LaFollette.
It's a huge rivalry. It should be a great atmosphere for a football game.
I honestly expect LaFollette will have trouble in the game, but maybe they'll be fired up because of the rivalry factor. You never know when rivalry.
That's true. I mean, right now they hold the traveling trophy. They get to look at it every day thinking, if we beat Jacksboro, we keep this. And let's just be realistic right here. Like John, Luke, and I have all just talked about, Oneida is going to win the district. I mean, they're manhandling everybody. So, what other chance do you have to win a trophy?
I mean, essentially, both teams should probably look at this as their best shot at winning some kind of trophy this year. Other than possibly runner-up trophies. But I mean, I know nothing to say. Anything's possible on a given day in football. But my gosh, it's not. It would take just a Herculean effort that I can't imagine I can't imagine the other teams in the district combining and beating that amount.
It would be almost impossible. I mean, we've seen Jacksboro and LaFollette play. You couldn't combine Jacksboro and LaFollette and beat.
I mean, every game we've watched this year. I mean, I thought Eagleton looked pretty good at times, but Eagleton. I'm sure if they've not played Oneida yet, when they do, they get steamrolled. But if they've played them, they probably got steamrolled.
I don't know. The Powell and Fulton teams we saw in the Jamboree could stand up to Oneida.
Honestly, it would be comparable.
We were,
and those teams had 15-year-olds on them.
There were
a lot of kids around the size of the Oneida kids.
Yeah, we were talking with some people before the game. Oneida has not had an offensive score on them this season.
Yeah.
Jacksboro ran a kickoff back.
They ran a kickoff back. So they've not had an offensive score on them. I mean, that was a special team score. It was great. It kept us from getting a goose egg.
I can remember Jacksboro did not get a first down in the game.
They did towards the end.
I think they did towards the
Well,
end.
on about us
First team.
in the first 3 quarters of the game, they didn't get a first down.
I'll tell you what. Now, I'll stand for it. I'll say this. The best Jacksboro team, and there's people that argue what the best Jacksboro team was. The best Jacksboro team that I was ever a part of as a coach or a player was the one that the Price twins, Chris DeMott, Devin Douglas, Derek Marlowe, Matt Lawson. I mean, this team also steamrolled everybody. We made Liberty Bell Academy quit in the 3rd quarter because we knocked all 3 of their quarterbacks out. This team literally sat down after the first series of the second half every game. I don't know that they can beat this Oneida team.
I mean, I just never saw a middle school team that big. I mean, Austin Range is a big kid, and he stands out on the field against everybody else. And on LaFollette's team, he was literally, I couldn't believe it, he was the size of their smallest players.
Yeah.
I mean, they put 6th graders in there who were...
They had 4 backs that had monstrous nights.
Yeah.
Usually on about 3 carries each.
I don't know what they're feeding in Oneida.
It's working.
Run something over here eastbound on 63.
I would-
Eastbound and down and get it to Orford.
I would love to see this Oneida team go against Jefferson or Robertsville.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if they played in any of the jamborees or played against the Farragut traveling teams or anything like that. I mean, that Farragut team, not Farragut, Fulton, pardon me, Fulton team had, and Powell, they had some kids around the same size. So I believe they were 15, though, because you get 15 on those teams.
Right.
And that were fast, and they actually pretty much, this game looked like the Oneida game when they played them in the jamboree, but that Oneida team could compete with anybody. I honestly think they could probably beat Jellicoe High School right now. They
probably could. Jellicoe's still struggling for their first win. They're down to about 16 players now. I hate it for them. I would love to see that team pick up and do something.
I know that there's at least 10 more people who could play on that football team. I mean, it's not easy, and it's not easy to go out there and never win. But if you actually get on the team and play, then you're going to actually get wins. It's like Campbell County was that way for so many years. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say you don't want to play on a team that loses all the time, but it loses all the time because you don't play. So you got to get out there and try. They say the coach is trying to instill some discipline. That's good for him. That's good for the team overall in the end. If you don't like discipline, you shouldn't be playing sports.
Discipline is so key in football. It really is.
It's going to do you better later on in life to learn it now. It should be a good game this week for LaFollette. I'm really looking forward to Campbell County versus Central. It's just a fun atmosphere at Campbell County games now. I was pleased. There's a big crowd from Campbell County, bigger than Clinton's crowd.
Yeah, even at homecoming.
Once the homecoming festivities were over for Clinton, their side of the field cleared out. We had the louder and bigger crowd.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that's very rare.
It was really good to see the fans travel.
I will say this, and I've said it before. Campbell County's fans are excellent. Up there for years, it's still a packed house on Friday nights. It doesn't matter if the team is 0-9 and it's the last game of the season. The stadium's still pretty full. There's still a lot of people there. And that's just year upon year of bad football has been played.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now with the football being exciting and winning games, 2 wins, double the win total from last year already. With like I say, several more very winnable games to go. It's just a different atmosphere even from that. You see people on the road.
If you could have been with Justin Price after that game, and I hope most of you have watched the interview that's up on. I mean, you could tell this was a coach that was very happy, very proud of his team, very pleased with the fans.
He came sprinting across the field, jumped the fence like he usually does, and it's a high fence at Clinton. He was really doing some jumping. Jumped the fence, came in the press box, gave out high fives to everybody. Thanked everybody for coming. He's very happy that people are there, very happy with the fans that came down. He couldn't be, more overjoyed to be having this job, to the support he's getting in the community. he's just very happy. Him and his brother Matt's the same way. Cody Parker, Josh James,
Daniel Berry.
just the entire staff is very enthusiastic, to say the least. It's contagious to be around.
Really is. I mean, and I'll say I liked Coach Wells. Coach Wells and I had a good relationship. Coach Wells was a much calmer, more laid back
Oh,
kind of. Now when Wampler was there, he was fine. But just the enthusiasm that Justin brings to the table.
it's just amazing. They're at the middle school games on Thursday nights a lot. Welcome you to go up and say hi to them.
Well, there's a coach. There's a coach that was there from the beginning. I mean, they went ahead and sent him down early, and he's got Oneida roots to watch Jacksboro's. Jacksboro's kicking extra points. They're looking at they know that special teams is key. Kicking is huge in special teams.
Well, earlier in the year at the Jamboree, at the Jamboree down in Anderson County, we missed an extra point. And ended up having to go for 2, and that caused us to lose 14-12 to Oneida when it should have been a tie game for the Jamboree. And that's just a small example. When you can actually kick extra points and make them.
And I'll say it right now. I'll give the man all the credit in the world. Scott Webb has done a lot to work on Jacksboro's kicking game.
I never saw Jacksboro kick an extra point, frankly.
Sean experimented with it. I think
we had somebody on our team that could kick.
He had a kicker, and frankly, Scott Webb when he played, and that's it.
When you don't have to go for 2 per time, you just give it. The extra point's almost an automatic point, and it's just a big deal. It can add up over the course of middle and high school games. It can add up if you have someone that make it. If you have someone who's missing, it's disastrous. But you're always playing from behind because of it. And we faced some good kickers. Was it the Hardin Valley kicker that kicked that
46
yards?
Yeah.
It was huge. But
Yeah.
I've not seen a field goal like that before on that level, and it probably will.
And I'll promise you that Oak Ridge will have a good kicker. No matter what else Oak Ridge does, they will have a good kicker.
But overall, it's just a good time to be, my favorite time of the year. It's October. It's the heart of Tennessee's football schedule. It's the heart of the high school football schedule. It's the heart of the middle school football. October is the month for me. I love Halloween. Love the cool weather. This is a prime time to be out at your football games on Friday nights, Thursday nights, watching them on Saturdays.
Speaking of UT football, in our next segment, we're going to talk about UT football and all the college football that happened yesterday. A lot of big stuff. Arkansas, Alabama, a bunch of big games yesterday.
And a lot of domination from the Western Division of the SEC.
So we'll be right back.